You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So Rickie Collins, he transferred over to Syracuse on Friday. It was official this time. And of course, it's fair to wonder, does this mean the Kyle McCord dream of him getting another year, is it dead? I'm here to tell you right now, I think it's actually the opposite. I think that Rickie Collins was the only move that made sense with a potential return of Kyle McCord. And for those that don't know, I'm going to explain it more on a full podcast tomorrow. But basically, Kyle McCord, according to Syracuse.com, is in the appeals process of trying to get another year. So this is not just smoke and mirrors. No, this is an actual thing with Kyle McCord trying to get another year of eligibility. Now, to understand why Syracuse is not necessarily done with their pursuit of trying to get Kyle McCord back, let's talk about other quarterbacks that the Orange were linked to in the transfer portal besides Rickie Collins. Okay? Let's start off with Kaidon Salter from Liberty. Salter, in my opinion, he was my number one choice. He was the guy who I would have gone after if Kyle McCord obviously were to not come back. Kyle McCord's plan A. But if he were to not come back, I would have wanted Kaidon Salter. I like the fact that he is a dual threat quarterback. And I believe that with stronger weapons, he can return more towards the player he was in 2023 than he was in 2024. He's got 1 year of eligibility left. He did commit to Colorado, though, with Deion Sanders. However, let's say Syracuse had gotten Kaidon Salter from the transfer portal. There is no way Kaidon Salter is coming to the Orange if Kyle McCord had a chance to come back. Like literally zero. He was not coming to the Orange just to be potentially a backup. This is someone who's only got 1 year of eligibility. I imagine a guy like Kaidon Salter wants to make it to the NFL. That doesn't mean that he's going to make it to the NFL, but he certainly wants to. And at minimum, he probably wants to start because he is a competitor and they want to start. And also when you start, you're going to make a lot of money, right? In NIL. Kaidon Salter was not coming to Syracuse if they were like, hey, man, Kyle McCord might come back. Because if Kyle McCord comes back, where does that leave Kaidon Salter? Well, it leaves him on the bench. So it makes sense that he committed to Colorado. Now, I know that Colorado, they brought in some hotshot quarterback recruit in this year's recruiting cycle. Julian Lewis might be the name. But Kaidon Salter is the veteran, and that recruit that Colorado got, well, he could easily redshirt. So there's less competition than if Kyle McCord had come back to Syracuse. So had Kaidon Salter committed to the Orange, basically what I am telling you is that the Kyle McCord dream is over. It's over because you're not getting both. It's one or the other. Let's talk about Connor Wigman from Texas A&M. I know a lot of people liked him. Myself, I was kind of iffy on him, but I didn't mind. He's a former 5-star recruit in 2022. He is a pro-style quarterback. He would have definitely fit into Syracuse's system, and you can make the argument that he would have had a terrific year with Syracuse. But he committed to Houston. Unlike Salter, Connor Wigman has 2 years of eligibility left, so in theory, he could sit a year and then potentially start in 2026. However, he has starting experience. Connor Wigman played at Texas A&M. This is not someone who just rode the pine for a couple of years at a big-time program and is now potentially looking to start. No, this guy played. He didn't play always well. He wasn't always perfect. I'll give him that. But he did play, so I imagine a guy like Connor Wigman, he would not come to Syracuse to, again, be a backup. He's going to be the man at Houston. Let's also discuss Anthony Calandria, the Virginia quarterback. And I'll admit, I was very glad that Syracuse did not end up with him. He committed to UNLV. For those that are interested, he has been mediocre at best in the ACC. And yeah, again, at best. For the last couple of years. I did not like Anthony Calandria. As soon as I saw the two linked, I said, no, thank you. No, thank you at all. He's got multiple years of eligibility left, but because he has already been a starter for 2 years, he's not going to make a move from Virginia to Syracuse just to be a backup. You see what I'm saying here? Of the 4 guys that the Orange were linked to, the only one that actually made sense for a possible Kyle McCord return is Rickie Collins, because none of the other options were going to come to the Orange to potentially be a backup. None of them. If Rickie Collins has to sit in 2025 because Kyle McCord comes back, at least he would have 2 more years to be a starting quarterback in college football because he's got 3 years of eligibility remaining. He's the only one that would have made sense. So in my opinion, Rickie Collins committing to Syracuse is actually more of a sign that Kyle McCord could come back. It doesn't mean that it'll happen. I'm not sitting here making a declaration it's going to happen. In fact, I still don't think it's going to happen. I'm hopeful. I'm more confident than I was a couple of weeks ago now that Kyle McCord is appealing. But the point being of this entire segment is this. Rickie Collins, I think, is much more in Syracuse's backup plans than he is as this is our plan A. I think plan A remains the same. It's getting Kyle McCord back for another year. This move signals that, unlike what Caden Salter, Connor Wigman, or Anthony Calandria would have, which is that the dream is done. So overall, Rickie Collins was not my first choice in the portal, but it's the only choice that makes sense for a potential return of Kyle McCord.